Hey Aurick, how are you?
Hi Saniya, I'm really good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Nice to know that.
Now that we are done with the fake pleasantries, apparently we got a feedback where some people were like, "Oh my God, this is so informal, quote unquote," and I'm like, "Bro, you're listening to a podcast. It is supposed to be fun. It is not supposed to be like a gyan that I'm giving, right?"
Yeah.
So also we talk things of substance. I've heard so many podcasts जो कि actually are like fun, and I think different podcasts have different segments also, right?
It depends on the theme कि आप क्या, what are you going for? We are
Say,
a friend क्या कहते हैं group who wants to make conversations about funny things. We'll do that.
exactly. So that is our vibe anyway. So I think we are on brand. Anyway,
Yeah.
so now that we are into season 2, I'm happy about that. And so this is the second episode for season 2, and
Yep.
we are going to talk about efforts in a relationship and what they mean.
Okay, interesting conversation.
So,
Can happen in this.
Aurick, yeah, what do you think? What do you mean by efforts in a relationship?
देखो, मैं exaggerate तो नहीं करना चाहता, but I am the मूर्ति and the embodiment of a guy putting efforts. ठीक है, ये तो सानिया धवन भी कह सकती है, and we will take her inputs on that also because we're just friends, okay, and not just वो air quotes वाले friends.
No, we are actually
friends and we're single. हम चाहते हैं एक दूसरे को मिल जाए, but the point is, even she would say that I do things in my mannerisms, in my putting efforts into everything, right? It's not about just women. I take that care and effort into everything. So obviously around my person, around the person that I value the most, the person that I want to be in love with, the person that I love, I put in a lot of efforts. कि भाई वो करना ही होता है यार. Bare minimum यार, आप एक इंसान को अपने जीवन से जोड़ना चाहते हो, किस लिए? क्या ही एजेंडा है?
हाँ,
डालोगे ना?
I agree. By the way, हाँ, मैं तुझे थोड़ा सा validation दे देती हूँ आज. तू भी याद रखेगा. Anyway, so nahi, I truly agree with this, that you are the kind of a person who puts in efforts for friendships as well and other relationships also in your life. So definitely I assume that when you are with your partner, you are also going to put in efforts. And I think I am also the kind of person and that I value efforts a lot, and I put in a lot of efforts even for my friendships. So definitely for relationships, I put in a lot of efforts. So I think efforts mean different thing to different people, right? And you also have to define what efforts mean to you when you are in a relationship. So for example, मेरे लिए कोई particular चीज, मान ले मेरे लिए continuously text करना या call पे check in करना, I consider those efforts. शायद किसी और के लिए कोई और effort का definition. So I think when you are with someone, you need to define what effort means to each other and then do that for the other person.
It's just like setting boundaries जैसे important है एक relationship में. It's also important to क्या कहते हैं define what efforts are. So for example, I'm somebody who's not a adventure lover, right? But I am going out of my comfort zone, doing something for you, stepping out of my comfort zone and doing an effort to क्या कहते हैं make you happy. That is an effort in itself. You can't say कि यार my other friends or other people in my life or my exes have क्या कहते हैं done the same thing, because maybe your nature was same. But look at somebody who actually goes that extra mile for you, right?
Right.
Out of the ordinary वो कुछ कर रहे हैं जो आपको पसंद है, आपको खुश करने के लिए, वो एफर्ट होता है, राइट? एंड इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि ये नहीं कि यार एवरीबॉडी कम्स विद अ टेम्पलेट कि भाई पिछले रिलेशनशिप में ऐसा था तो मेरे को इस वाले में भी यही मिलेगा या यही चाहिए, या पिछले में नहीं था तो ये चाहिए. फिगर आउट टुगेदर कि भाई व्हाट यू वांट एंड देन सी इफ द पर्सन इज विलिंग टू. कोई पैदा नहीं होता 100% क्या कहते हैं मार्क्स के साथ कि भाई रिश्ते में तो मैं 100% हो जाऊंगा. इट्स एन एवोल्यूशनरी थिंग. सो आस्क what can they do for you, and if it is absolutely necessary for you to be happy, they will क्या कहते हैं go out of their comfort zone and give you.
I also, you said something in the middle which I wanted to talk about, is people comparing their current relationship to their previous relationships or someone else's relationships. मेरी आज ही किससे बात हो रही थी and this person was like, you know what, one of the things that my exes did was compare our relationship to our friends' relationship, या फिर to their exes, right? So I think this is a very bad thing and we should be mindful about this and stop doing this in general, right? Like, I believe that every relationship is unique, and I keep saying this कि हर बार ना दो लोग एक दूसरे के साथ कैसे जेल करते हैं ना, that is a different equation altogether. So even though I am the common denominator in all of my relationships, but it is not the same all the time, right? And I think all of us agree when it comes to that, especially if you have been with multiple people and multiple relationships. All of those turn out a little bit different because there's another person also in the equation, right? So I think we have to keep that in mind and stop comparing our relationship to people on social media, people we know in real life, चाहे हमारे दोस्त हो, चाहे हमारे ex. So I think that is a red flag, and we should be mindful about not doing it because I think it is disrespectful to your current partner. So you should never do that. So I advise people not to do it, and I never do it myself. And if somebody freaking did it to me, I would be like, there is going to be a fight for sure. Anyway, this is not something that you're supposed to do. So anyway, I think efforts also like they differentiate on the basis of where you are in the relationship, right? So for example, in the beginning of the relationship, what do you think the efforts are, and when the relationship progresses, तो effort का मतलब भी change हो जाता है, right? So how do you think कि वो change होता है?
I could probably rant about this. This is like a personal pain point for me, and this is very hypocritical. Both का कहते हैं, it's gender neutral, right? Women do this, men do this also. In fact, what has happened is that लोग effort के नाम पे ना जुमला कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? I'll tell you why. Women be like, and I've posted on social media so many times about this, कि women care about, मेरे को effort चाहिए. I want the man to be supremely involved, and I want him to be totally engrossed in me and my world and our thing, and we build together. But the irony is, at the start of the relationship, women be like, if a man is putting too much effort, oh नहीं ये creep होगा, इसको तो मुझसे कुछ और ही चाहिए होगा, and why is he doing this? अरे why is there a template around effort? If a person is a giver, if a person is somebody who actually wants to bring you joy, right? It is their nature. They will be themselves. They don't have to go out of their way and be like, I will do these things just to acquire you.
But you know where it is coming from also, right? Maybe someone is putting their effort as a genuine thing, but sometimes in most cases I've seen, especially with the whole man and woman thing, men have that chasing wala tendency also. So in the beginning, especially, men put in a lot of efforts actually just to acquire the woman, and those efforts just diminish when they get the girl. Okay, and so many women have experienced this, which is why they are maybe very, अगर कोई starting में effort दिखाता है, they're like, यार ये तो इसको पक्का कुछ मुझसे उल्टा सीधा चाहिए,
but
इसीलिए
I'll come back to this, but I also want to say that people follow a template also, and this also comes from the western side of the world, where it's like a 3-date rule wala to jo thai. But along with that, the etiquettes of messaging, or kya kehte hain, how much to message someone. People are like, if I message her today, or she messages me today, I will message her, let's say 4 hours later, maybe 2 hours later.
Right.
I will not stay in touch with her for another day and a half. I'll go missing, because that is what the entire media and psychology experts are teaching you. Give her some distance, make her chase you. That is how she will be interested in you. And that is what a lot of guys are also doing. If a guy is pretending, listen, if somebody wants you, they want you. Okay? If they want you, today there is a post which I have put आज से 24 hours पहले Instagram पे डाला था, that I am not a person who chases someone, but if I like you, I will take a jog. मैं दौड़ूंगा तेरे लिए, right? I don't actually go behind too many people, but I will put in that effort because I want to. I am engrossed in you. I want to be engrossed in you. So the template around effort, I think women fear that because he's putting too much effort, maybe ये बाद में dull हो जाएगा, dim हो जाएगा या नहीं रहेगा. उसके लिए it does not matter. See ना, somebody who is able to give you consistent efforts.
I know, right? Which is what I also preach. Ki, you have to. That is how you judge people in general, right? Because it is very easy to put in efforts at the beginning. एक हफ्ते, 2 हफ्ते, 1 महीने, 2 महीने, right? You have to see, and which is why I also believe ये saying भी, and I sort of stand by it, that time is a very good test of things, right? So sometimes time tells you all. So time will reveal people's true nature as well. So अगर वो सच में उनकी genuine nature थी ना, तो even after they have gotten you, even after they have been with you for years and years, तुम देखोगे कि उसकी personality, उसकी nature पहले दिन भी same थी, और वो 366 day या फिर 701वें दिन भी same है, right? But if there is a difference that you see, that means कि वो पहले वाली चीज सिर्फ हो रही थी to get you, या फिर maybe it's sort of like an innocent thing also, right? कि you just met someone, you are interested, you're excited, and many people say कि यार अब तो सब पता लग गया इसके बारे में, अब तो वो होता है ना कि घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर, अब क्या है यार, अब क्या एफर्ट डालने, ये कहाँ मुझे छोड़ के जा रही है, कहाँ ही जा रहा है ये, छोड़ना यार. But I think that is the problem, because I feel while you are, पहले तो obviously effort लगाने पड़ते हैं, but when you have progressed in the relationship also, to keep that spark alive also, you have to put in consistent efforts, because I feel if the moment you stop giving efforts to a relationship is the moment it is going to die. So I think both of you have to actively do that.
I want to bring in Instagram again here, and something similar I heard in Animal movie. मैंने खत्म नहीं किया, आधी देखी है. It's quite fascinating. आधे point तक तो ठीक है. But so what I saw on Instagram again, कभी it relates so good, sometimes it's bullcrap, but ठीक है. This one made sense to me at least. कि it was about girl, you got played because you trusted his words. ठीक है. So then and उसमें फिर next लिखा था कि you trusted his words, look at his efforts. ठीक है. then to that I reposted that post and I wrote uske niche ki my friend got played both for words and efforts, look for consistency, right? ठीक है, बंदा एफर्ट डाल रहा है, थोड़ा क्या कहते लग रहा है कि चोरी करेगा, चकारी करेगा, कुछ तो गड़बड़ करेगा, बट देखो ना वो कब तक वो कर पाएगा. Somebody who does not have an agenda, who only wants to be with you for the right reasons, will not put in effort unnecessarily. People who put extra effort, जो लगता है ना कि they're doing the world's best thing by कहते wooing you, they're only doing with an objective कि भाई इसको पाना है.
I agree, but and यहाँ पे I think that thing comes where it is like sometimes some things are too good to be true. Okay, so when you feel and when you come along things which seem to be too good to be true, they usually are, is what I say. So अगर तुम्हें लग रहा है ना कोई कई बार out of the world चीजें कर रहा है, अभी मिला है तुमसे 1 महीने भी नहीं हुए और कुछ ज्यादा ही हो रहा है, then also I become a little bit suspicious because been there, done that. You know, it is usually to get you basically. Once they get you, they are going to
but
just
that is
drop
not
that.
true, right? I have been in so many long-term relationships also, where my longest relationship, like I keep saying, was 4 years, which started in 4 days, and I gave all of my efforts, even though it was the best relationship also, was the most difficult one for me as well, right? But I kept giving my effort because I am like that. But I have also been told, Aurick, you come across as too strong. Arey, what is too strong? If you can't take that brand of effort, don't blame me for that, right? I can't change my nature. आज से 5 साल बाद, when you don't see effort in anybody, you might like me also because I'm putting that effort. Maybe I am the last man standing who's giving you that effort.
I think यहाँ पे थोड़ी सी वो क्या बोलना चाहिए, मतलब हिपोक्रिटिकल नेचर आती है लोगों की सामने बाहर कि एक तरफ तुम बोल रहे हो कि मुझे एफर्ट भी चाहिए एंड देन इट्स लाइक नहीं भी चाहिए. So I think you have to find that fine line where you're not too much into someone's space, you are still giving them space, but also in their life, if you know what I mean. So you have to give in some kind of effort, but I would still say that take it a little bit slow, probably like पहले ही दिन बहुत कुछ ही मत कर दो ताकि सामने वाला डर जाए, इंटिमिडेट हो जाए, बट टेक इट स्लो, धीरे धीरे बिल्ड करो कोई चीज पे, सामने वाले का भी रिएक्शन देखो कि कैसा रहा है. इफ यू आर सीइंग कि नहीं यार ये भी इंसान इंटरेस्टेड है, आई विल टेल यू समथिंग अबाउट दिस. So with people that I have also been with in the past in my relationships, like it got converted into a relationship very fast. जैसे तू कहना 4 दिन में प्यार हो गया, so not 4 दिन, but definitely 2-3 हफ्ते 4 हफ्ते में I was like in both of us were. So I feel that is also sort of like a good sign, because when you're actually in someone ना, वो तुम्हारे अंदर से आता है शुरू से ही. I feel दोनों की तरफ से क्या चलो एफर्ट डालते because this seems to be promising, right? So but कई बार इसका opposite भी होता है. Sometimes playing the long game and giving people a chance and letting them show who they are, because I think you have said this to me and I agree now that after talking to so many people I've realized कि not everyone is an extrovert जो कि बिल्कुल अपनी सेम एग्जैक्ट नेचर पहले दिन पहली डेट पे दिखा पाएगी, राइट? समटाइम्स कुछ लोगों को खुलने में टाइम लगता है, तो मे बी गिव पीपल अ कपल ऑफ चांसेस, बिल्ड ऑन इट. But I think effort is important.
I am smirking inside. I'm not showing that smirk to you because I'm going to tell the audience what she just said. I want to unravel that a little bit. Okay? Saniya, Dhawan, at the starting of our podcasting relationship journey, friendship journey, she did not like me as a person. She thought मैं हैवान हूँ, right? Today she has a changed view about me because she has seen me closely. We speak a lot. We actually, while we record this, we go out and have a sip of coffee or, dinner sometimes. So she's gotten to know me pretty well. And now she's like, हाँ ठीक है. And now she even listens to some things I say, and then she
I just listen, I don't agree.
You don't agree. At first she does not agree. But then when she goes and sees, अरे ये बात तो ये कह रहा था, and these are the things that the guys are doing, I'm like, अच्छा Aurick तू सही कह रहा था. I'm like, ठीक है कोई बात नहीं. Also the proof of that is there are episodes जहाँ पे Easter eggs है where you have not agreed on certain things at the early stage of the podcast, but by the end of the first season you've agreed on a lot of things with me as well. But that is what life is all about, right? You don't have to be constant in your choices. You can constantly keep evolving and be like, ठीक है कल मैं decision ये ले रहा था, आज मैं ये ले सकता हूँ. That's the beauty of choice.
I think यहीं पे बहुत सारे लोग मतलब पीछे चले जाते हैं, I would say, because people have a lot of ego, right? So the whole idea of मैं तो नहीं बदलूंगा, मैं नहीं बदलूंगा, because people think I'm perfect. मुझे क्या जरूरत है बदलने की? मेरा व्यू पॉइंट तो बिल्कुल एकदम सुप्रीम लेवल पे मुझे नहीं चेंज करना. लेकिन मेरा ये मानना है, I keep telling this to people कि I am a person that I stand by my principles, I stand by my ideologies. If you give me, and I stand by logic, right? I believe in logic. So as long as my logic is fine, and if you can have an argument with me and beat me or defeat me in terms of my logic, and I see examples wherein the other person's argument prevailed over mine, then I would believe it. So I'm ready to change my idea if it proves to be right? If I see that. So I would have no qualms about admitting कि हाँ ये सही था, because मुझे दिख रहा है, right? मैं भी कुछ नया सीख रही हूँ, so why not?
Also on the effort part, before we move on to the next thing that we want to discuss about efforts, I want to say this ki also look for why a person wants to put in efforts. Why behind the effort is very important, right? जैसे हमने कहा कि क्या ढूंढ रहा है, are they looking for something nefarious, are they looking just to have you or to get to know you? I think that is very important. And effort पता है सबसे ज्यादा इंसान कब डालता है, जब उसको उस रिश्ते की कदर होती है, right? The efforts come in because they don't want to let that person go, because they value the person. If a person values you, they will put the effort. Once you stop creating that value for that person, irrespective of आप husband हो, wife हो, आप boyfriend हो, girlfriend हो, कोई भी हो, अगर value नहीं है, it will go away. So effort comes out of the value that we see in a person. So if that person is supremely valuable to me, I will put in that effort because I want to have that.
I know. And I joke around this कि मैंने I think एक tweet भी करा हुआ है कि we were talking about the beginning versus end, right? So in the beginning of relationship, some of my exes were like, they used to update me and tell me कि यार मैं ये कर रहा हूँ, वो कर रहा हूँ. And इस पे I think reels भी बन चुके हैं, which is so funny. They're like, oh baby, अब मैं यहाँ जा रहा हूँ, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ. खुद ही से बता रहा है. I'm not asking for this shit, right? And 1 year, 2 year into the relationship, they're like, why are you always, calling me, texting me? मैं बाहर हूँ, नहीं करूँगा तुझसे बात, I don't have time for you. So that is the difference, right? So now that you've gotten her, you are probably like, पहले कहा तुम छोटी छोटी बातें भी share करते थे, now like यार जाना.
See, there are two parts to it also, right? Like for example, after 2 years, you get to know how the person operates, and if they've been very genuine and honest with you, you know what their patterns are going to be, what they do, what they don't do, and if it is something big worthy of telling you, they will definitely tell you. But the other side of that also is that a person wants to tell you. I would say men become potty trained in a way, right? In relationships, ki I know for a fact that if I don't do this, she will क्या कहते हैं, get mad at me and not be with me, or maybe क्या कहते हैं, she will actually not care about me as much and she'll dump me. In that sense, the guy knows it's a template that he has to follow. I will keep telling her where I am, what I am doing, before she gets mad or she gets to the point where she has to be inquisitive and angry about it. So there are two ways to look at it. A man will always, in fact, if he's a smart man, if he cares about you, he'll be like, let me inform her where she is. In fact, the informing bit comes also from interest and value. I want to share what I am doing, my feelings. I am excited. I want to share how excited I am, even though I'm, spelunking out of somewhere, but you are sitting at home. I am enjoying. I want to share that feeling, because if somebody loves you truly, they'll be happy for you even if they're 4,000 miles away.
Exactly my freaking point. And so many people tell me कि यार ये तो ना बड़ा, इसको मेरी एक एक बात जाननी है, मेरे पे कड़ी नजर बनाए रखना चाहती है, ये मे बी मेरे पे सस्पिशियस. इट्स नॉट अबाउट दैट, इट्स एग्जैक्टली अबाउट व्हाट यू सेड. एंड पता सामने वाला बंदा या बंदी भी वैसी परसीव करता है इस चीज को. और मैंने भी ये चीज की है, एंड मेरे मतलब प्रीवियस पार्टनर्स ने भी ये चीज की है कि वी हैव told about our lives. यार पता है मैं ये करने जा रही हूँ, this is where I'm heading to, because I'm very excited about it, not because मैं micro manage किसी को करी, not, मैं genuinely खुश हूँ and I'm just sharing that information with you. So out of love, I'm like, तुझे पता है मैं ये, even if it is the smallest thing, what, I'm going out to eat, what, I'm going to watch a movie. So it's not कि someone is controlling me या वही माइक्रो मैनेज करने में. तुम खुशी खुशी बताते हो और करते हो वो चीज अगर तुम्हें करनी होती है और सामने वाले को बतानी होती है, तो which is also a part of efforts. So I think effort also, which brings me to the next bit, which is like sometimes people say कि यार relationships या प्यार तो effortless होना चाहिए और ऐसा लगना ही नहीं चाहिए कि हम कोई मेहनत करें, right? It should not feel like work. But what do you think about that? कि can it truly ever be कि यार बिल्कुल automatically हो जा रहा है? Do you think कि थोड़ा consciously भी इसके बारे में you have to think about it?
The answer is yes and a no. The part is that yes, it can be effortless only when both of you have 95% similarities in terms of your nature, in terms of the things that you want, and the kind of the person that you are individually in the world before you met each other, right? If that kind of synchronicity is there between the two of you, then it becomes effortless, because you like, this is my mirror image. This person just fits, supremely well fits. This can also happen where the other people, like the two partners in a relationship, are very complementary to each other. So one person brings high energy, the other is low energy. The other can also bring high energy when the partner is generally not in high energy, right? So in those cases, it can be a little effortless. But when two people are supremely different, which is 99% on people on the planet who will be different because of their circumstances, because of their geography, because of their economic status, because of their friends and co-workers and culture and everything, right? Languages. So what will happen is that we will always go ahead and not have people who are very similar to us. And in those cases, we have to see कि जो जिसको मैं value कर रहा हूँ, is it going to be work or is it going to be effortless, right? You put in the work, and see, work is, it does not mean you're not putting in work. Sometimes it's effortless in your head. You're still doing things with your partner. It's just that it is not obvious to you because it flows
Exactly.
so smoothly.
I know. I have the same idea regarding this कि you know you have to put in efforts, but those efforts will feel effortless, like कि मैं कुछ कर ही नहीं रही हूँ, because that is coming out from a place of love, right? So it does not feel like a lot to you. तुम्हें वो मेहनत नहीं लगती, पर actually if you look at it in hindsight, you'll be like, oh my god, I was putting in so much efforts, but it never felt like it because I was doing it. दिल से तुम कुछ करते हो ना, तो तुम्हें वो होता है ना कि तुम सात समंदर पार भी किसी के लिए चले जाओगे, but you won't realize it. You will never even. और तुम्हें पता है, okay, another thing which people do, which I freaking hate, लोग ना कई बार कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो सिर्फ तुम्हें दिखाने के लिए एफर्ट्स डालते हैं, और ऐसे लोग पता है क्या होता है, हाउ टू काइंड ऑफ रिकॉग्नाइज इट, they will always count the things that they have done for you कि मैंने तेरे लिए तब ये किया था, and they will give that effort list to you on your face कि मैंने ये किया. I feel that is such a bad thing because I feel अगर तुमने दिल से किया होता ना, तुम्हें तो याद ही नहीं रहता, because that happens to me. If I have done something for someone, I will never give them a list or never have done that in my life. एंड मुझे सही में याद नहीं होता, और मुझे कई बार दिस हैज बीन डन टू मी कि मैंने तेरे लिए ये किया होगा, and I'm like, how do you have a list? That means you are keeping track of this, right? That means it was kind of like a mental list in your mind कि मुझे ये satisfy करना है, या ऐसे पटाना है, या करना है, खुश रखना है, इसीलिए मैं कर रहा हूँ. क्योंकि अगर दिल से आता ना, तो believe me, you would never keep track. और even if you have a mental track, दिमाग में पता है, तुम किसी को कभी वो दिखाओगे या बोलोगे नहीं कि मैंने तेरे लिए ये किया.
Yes, you're right, but I want to add a side note to this is गिनाना नहीं चाहिए, obvious नहीं कराना चाहिए, which is fine. But if it is going overboard, sometimes it is good to remind people also, because people tend to forget the things that the privileges that they're getting or the effort that they're getting. Sometimes it's making them realize, oh, you know what, I also do this for you. So sometimes somebody might be, you know, instigating you, like, तुमने तो मेरे लिए कुछ नहीं किया. Then you tell them these were the instances that I did something but I did not show it. I am bringing it up because we are having a mature conversation about it, and not from a point कि मैं तुम्हें नीचा दिखाना चाह रहा हूँ या दिखाना चाह रही हूँ. I am bringing it up because this is the fact of it.
Right, I know, but still I think if the conversation, or if the, I don't know, if it has come to that कि जहाँ तुम्हें एक दूसरे को effort याद दिलाने पड़े, I don't know what is left then.
But because वो याद तब दिलाना पड़ता है when one of the partners is oblivious कि effort डले जा रहा है and they're taking them for a ride.
Granted, हाँ, वो भी है.
In that case, that's why this was a side note, but I totally agree with what you just said.
Yeah, I think that is right. Anyway, so I think another thing that I wanted to discuss about was how do you think efforts differ between, like, on the basis of gender? So how do they differ between what efforts society expects from a man to do, and what are the efforts that a woman is expected to do in a traditional or in a modern day relationship, not a traditional relationship, but yeah, anyway.
That's a very, very good question, Saniya. Very good question. I'll tell you why. Because this is a very complex answer, right? Women have had roles, right? Where the man used to go and hunt, and ये वाला animal में भी ये बंदा बताता है. Going back to history, the man used to be the hunter-gatherer, going and getting things. Women used to take care of the babies, cook food, do all the, you know, caregiving stuff and all of that. That pratha in our Indian culture also has been told this is the role of a wife. This is what a wife is supposed to do. This is what the function of a husband is, to be the provider and all of those things. A lot of women today also believe कि हाँ ये करना चाहिए, I should be a pativrata person or a patnivrata person or whatever that might be. But the complexity comes because of the fact that a lot of women think, and this is pseudo feminism, where the woman thinks that, yeah, I am a woman, I should not be the one putting effort, men should put in effort because times have changed. Arey, how is that relevant? How is the gender thing going to come into this? You are an individual human being, right? Irrespective of your gender, you are supposed to put in efforts in a relationship to please your partner, to make them happy. And please wala ye nahi ki nahi, you are having to please them. Some people even get angry on those words, but it's not pleasing. It's not people pleasing. It's about you doing something for them, they doing something for you. So in that case, I think women evolutionarily have been more caregivers. They actually give you more attention and effort because we've evolved like that, right? Even if you look in the nature, most of the primates, most of the mammals actually are like that. There are only insect species or some amphibians who don't give a frick about, you know, what is happening with their partners, and, you know, women dominate. In fact, there are some spiders, sorry people for the weird fact, but there are women spiders who are bigger and they eat the man spider after mating with them. But generally in nature also, women are big and loud sometimes, right? So the thing is, women actually put in more effort. But I think what women are craving these days is a man to put that effort. And that is why at the start I said this is a very conflicting thing, because when you are looking for the man to put in the effort in this modern day and age, कि भाई ठीक है, equal होना चाहिए, मैं effort डाल रही हूँ, मेरा तो nature था, तुम भी डालो, कि मैं क्यों हमेशा डिश वॉश करूँ या मैं क्यों हमेशा कपड़े धोऊं, तुम भी धो लो यार, संडे एटलीस्ट तुम संडे को कर लो. So I think effort wise, historically, culturally, evolutionarily, women have been the more effort givers, effort putters, but men also have now realized that if I have to value a woman because she has high standards, and obviously why should she not, he also thinks that she's worth that, because people are also valuing their partners a little bit more than they used to. And I'll just bring a little bit of side note here again, is that people are not having kids these days, they're having pets. It's a massive trend that is happening globally also, and especially in India as well. तो उसमें क्या होता है, पेट्स को पहले in the late 60s and the 50s जब अमेरिका में पेट्स होते थे, मतलब because America is largest pet country in the world, pet caring nation in the world, तो वो लोग पहले अपने कुत्तों को ना बाहर क्या कहते हैं अपने यार्ड में बांध के रख देते थे कि भाई धूप है, उनको क्या फर्क पड़ता है, उनका छोटा सा कैनल बना दिया, उनको बाहर छोड़ दिया. Now if you look at it, pet parents कैसे होते हैं, oh this is my baby, which is the feeling that you actually get. I'm not saying to tease somebody, but that is the feeling that you get कि I'm taking care of another being, right? So in that case, you've become more better caregivers. Same way, men have also realized that we can put in some effort because I care about the person more. I'm not looking at a woman as a person who will just do her duties, who will be an objectified thing in my life. She's here to pleasure me or to give me things of comfort of any kind. That is when a man will also put efforts. And I, unfortunately, because we mostly have a patriarchal society all through the world, what is happening is that men have been taught not to do things for women. In fact, they've been taught not to cry, not to do anything for anybody for that matter, not even for other guys, right? It is a very fine line between somebody saying कि ये ब्रो कोड है, वो है भाई, ब्रो कोड तो है, तू अपने ब्रोस के साथ तू मर मिट जाएगा, पर सामने वाला एक चलता हुआ आदमी उसने तेरे को कुछ बोल दिया तो उसको क्या कहते मार डालेगा. भाई इसमें ब्रो कोड का है, ह्यूमन कोड करो ना फिर. So that is where I think that the roles have also reversed, because a man wants to value a woman equally as they would want a woman to value them. But in most cases, it does not happen. But generally, women are more caregivers. But obviously, there can be outliers. There can be people who will not be in that equal distribution curve. That is where women are also sometimes a little more detached. They don't care. They're more frivolous. But generally, I would say women are better caregivers, and they care and they give efforts into a relationship, especially when they're definitely in love with the guy, or they absolutely love the guy.
I agree. In fact, I think this sort of क्या बोलना चाहिए, activity distribution, या I don't know what the better word for that this is, but definitely I think ये बहुत सालों से चले आ रहा है, and women have been given a lot of effort. The shift that I've seen in the recent times is, और मैं दोनों के पर्सपेक्टिव से बोलूंगी, ठीक है, कि ड्यूरिंग द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द रिलेशनशिप आई सी द मेन गिविंग मोर एफर्ट्स एज कम्पेयर टू द वुमन, बिकॉज पता है ये भी एक हो गया कि अच्छा ये बंदा है तो ये मुझे अप्रोच करेगा, इसे इनिशिएट करना है, इसे डेट करनी है, इसे आस्क आउट करना है, राइट? सो आई एम लाइक दैट वी शुड ऑल्सो ब्रेक दैट स्टीरियोटाइप, बिकॉज you are a woman, you are an empowered woman, you can definitely ask him out as well, and you can also initiate things, right? So there should be no shame around this. But I think we have talked about this, and we have come across people in real life who have explicitly said, like women have said कि यार मैं तब तक नहीं, मैं मर जाऊंगी, मैं नहीं बोलूंगी, because this has to come from a man. अगर प्रपोज करना होगा ये बोलेगा, अगर मतलब मैं कभी I would never get down on
फेमिनिज्म कहाँ जा रहा है?
हाँ तो गलत है ना, मैं तो वही बोल रही हूँ, मैंने तो अपने पास में करा हुआ है, like with the relationships that I had I definitely I was in many cases I was the one to approach them and say you know what, I like you, what do you think about this, you know? So there is no harm in that. Like you can always be the first person to do this.
But on the flip side of it, I'll also tell you one thing which is very prevalent in the society, is that anybody, this is gender neutral again, but it happens more with women. If a guy thinks the woman is putting more efforts, he is not going to be interested in her.
I know, right? And मुझे ये कई लोगों ने बोला, इनफैक्ट बंदों ने बोला है कि you know your charm as a woman diminishes if the guy knows that you are interested in, like you're showing a lot of interest. मैं वही बोल रही हूँ, पता है क्या? Because वहीं से आता है. I'll tell you what, there is a problem in this whole thing. That is what I'm trying to explain. कि बंदों को ना चेस पसंद है. They want to, they only, and this comes I think from sort of like वो evolution, exactly वो hunt, मुझे वो chase चाहिए, मुझे वो thrill चाहिए. So कई बार they are in it for the wrong reasons. They are not there because they want this particular woman because he loves her. He is in it because oh my god, can I get her? let me try, let me put in my best effort, let me put my best foot forward and let me see अगर मेरे से पट पाती है कि नहीं. That is an achievement for them, which is why many relationships fail after the 6 month or 10 month or 12 month mark, because then the man अचानक से realizes कि okay ठीक है, I got her, fine, I proved my point, whatever the hell that point was, इसका क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है. Now what? He then realizes after a long time कि यार मेरे को तो शायद ये चीज चाहिए ही नहीं थी, मैंने तो सिर्फ ये इसलिए कर लिया बिकॉज मेरे को I like that chase, I like that hunt. So that is where the issue is. I think effort का अगर ये जो है ना, ये हम जेंडर स्टीरियोटाइपिंग ना करें and we break that and we normalize कि even in the beginning दोनों ही बंदा बंदी दोनों ही एफर्ट डाल सकते हैं, एंड ये चेज वाली चीज अगर चले जाए ना, तो आई थिंक देन वी वुड बी एबल टू रियलाइज कि यार सामने वाला सच में कर रहा है या फिर सिर्फ तुम्हें पानी के लिए कर रहा है.
मैं पब्लिकली बोलना चाहता हूँ सबके सामने कि प्लीज अगर आपने एफर्ट डालना है प्लीज डाल लो. आई विल बी मोर देन हैप्पी, आई विल रेसिप्रोकेट ऑल्सो. बट आपने अगर वो हंट पे मेरे को नहीं भेजना है, मैं नहीं जाने वाला, मेरे को नहीं जरूरत है. मॉडर्न डे में मैन डज नॉट नीड टू हंट, ही इज सेंसिबल, ही नोज व्हाट ही वांट्स. आई कैन गो टू द सुपरमार्केट एंड गेट व्हाटएवर आई वांट. आई डोंट हैव टू हंट समथिंग. कम ऑन, बी एवोल्यूशनरली इवॉल्व्ड. Also,
not everyone is ना, sadly.
हाँ, that is the problem. Why society is going to the places.
Also, sometimes ये भी होता है कि, for example, ठीक है, in general उससे पता है मुझे बहुत मिल जाएंगी, but sometimes some men get obsessed with the particular idea of a woman कि if he has not been with a certain kind of woman and he feels कि she is out of his league, तो तब भी वो एक वो challenge की तरह होता है कि can I get her?
But that is okay. Again, I have been there where I've dated people below my league. I've dated people or at par with my league, and I've also dated way beyond my league as well. ठीक है? Case in point, I will not say why and when and where and who. But anyway, what happens is that most men think that they're not worthy of going out of their league. Right? But the men who think they can, who have the confidence, who have built themselves up for that thing, they definitely love that hunt, right? Like, I will back this woman. इसमें कौन सा एटीट्यूड है? मैं पू को क्या कहते हैं, पू दिखाऊंगा.
Exactly, I know. ये बहुत होती है, पता है, मतलब ये चुल होती है कि यार इसका तो मैं मतलब ईगो ब्रेक करके दिखा दूंगा, मैं दिखाऊंगा कि I can.
Also, it's easy, by the way. If you want to break somebody who's very egotistical and very uptight about things, right? They're the most vulnerable targets.
I know, वो दिल से बहुत ही ज्यादा स्वीट या सॉफ्ट होते हैं. Especially I feel यार बंदियां बहुत ज्यादा होती हैं यार, ज्यादा स्वीट होती हैं, तो उन्हें अगर तुम थोड़े से 4 एफर्ट दिखा दो और 5 मीठी बातें कर दो, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स वो मानी जाएंगी. इतनी भी वो भले कितना टफ एक्सटीरियर भी रख लेना, वो एक्चुअली दिल से वैसा नहीं. यू एक्चुअली इफ यू आर नॉट अ डूसबैग एंड यू आर डूइंग थिंग्स राइट, शी विल गिव यू अ चांस. सो हाँ, नॉट दैट बिग अ डील. Anyway, so what do you think but acha, another thing about this is ki I also agree, so this division of labor, right? And I think as a society, I feel very strongly about this, by the way. I feel that the division of labor should be equitable. It should never be कि यार एक ही बंदी किए जा रही है, and this is so freaking toxic. I've seen this in so many relationships, marriages, even real life examples, where see पहले ऐसा होता था कि लड़के काम करते थे, लड़कियां घर संभालती थी, ऐसा टाइप का एक रोल वो था, which was a very skewed thing, and it was sort of like it promoted inequality, right? So which is why the society changed, we evolved, and हर कोई दोनों काम करने लग गए. तो I'm like, जब दोनों काम करने लग गए हैं, good, ये we did that as a society, that is a win for us. पर अभी भी when it comes to child, बच्चे का ध्यान कौन रखेगा, घर कौन संभालेगा, सासू माँ के लिए चाय कौन बनाएगा, everything is the woman. So now this poor woman is obviously doing her job.
देखो,
because
तो सासू माँ के लिए शादी चाय वाला सीन तो दूर हो जाओ. Big क्या कहते हैं, people who live away from families also. इतना सासू माँ के भसड़ में. See, because I'll tell you, I've seen women on both sides of the fence. Women who don't absolutely want to be in that सासू माँ dilemma also, or they are at least looking for a very good सासू माँ equivalent to the guys that they're looking for. कि मेरे बंदे में ये चीज चाहिए, but I also want this thing in my सासू माँ. I've met women like that also. But there are women who absolutely love the idea of joint family and they want to live in a joint family.
Fine, पर पता है क्या? I have in some cases seen women stretch themselves out like crazy, and I have asked them, I'm like, why are you the only one who is doing this for the entire family?
Because it comes from inside of them, ना? अगर नहीं आ रहा तो they would not do it.
नहीं, पता है क्या? It's not even inside. Some women, I'm like, obviously she's balancing her career, she's doing all of this, and she is doing it very happily, and obviously everyone is applauding her, saying, wow, यार कितनी अच्छी बीवी है, कितनी अच्छी बहू है. First of all, why does a woman's value, why does it have to come from what kind of service, quote unquote, she is providing you, right? Is it not enough that she is in your life and she is adding value as a person? नहीं, उसको ये घर के chores proof करके क्यों दिखाना है कि मैं बहुत ही dedicated बहू या पत्नी हूँ? क्यों भाई?
See, that again is for our culture. Some people are loving the whole Sanatan Dharma all of a sudden anyway.
I know, yaar.
But try to understand that while we have to be progressive with everything, there are set ways that have happened for thousands of years, and one of the reasons why it probably survived that way also because there was some merit to it, right? But I also believe that because of the modern inventions and the distractions and social media and comparing yourselves with the whole world and wanting things that other people have or want, right? You are actually putting yourself in that place where, you're not happy. In that sense, you'll become very adversarial with yourself. You're like, I want a Sasuma who's super cool, right? Which is fine. But try to understand, if you didn't want that, and if you stood your ground and you said, you know what, I am here to love your husband, I will take care of the family duties which are accepted of me. Don't be adversarial with the Sasuma ki nahi main to kya kehte nahi chai banaungi. Arey, tell her that I am somebody who values my time. I want to go to office and I want to be with my kids and I want to go travel the world. I want to do concerts. Absolutely fine. Don't make chai, but don't have to fight about it. Nahi, aapko chai chahiye, main nahi dungi chai.
नहीं यार, बात लड़ने की नहीं है, बात सिर्फ एजेंडा की नहीं है. मेरी सिर्फ ये बात है कि
एंड बाय द वे लिसन, लड़ने की बात नहीं है, ये बातें मनगढ़ंत लड़कियां तब बात सोच रही हैं, डिस्कस हो रही है. These have been discussed with me while they are single and looking for a husband also. Yeah, it's not even a real situation, it's a situation in their head. Can you imagine आप कितना बड़ा वॉरफेयर अपने दिमाग में घुसेड़ के ऑलरेडी चल रहे हो?
क्योंकि देख रहे हैं ना आसपास लोगों के साथ ये हो रहा है.
आसपास क्यों देख रहे हो? तुम अपना फिल्टर करो ना, तुम्हें जो चाहिए वो ढूंढो ना. अगेन फिर आसपास क्यों?
ठीक है, फाइन. सो मैं ये कहना चाह रही हूँ कि इवन अच्छा चल छोड़, जॉइंट फैमिली की हटा भी दी मैंने वो चीज, इक्वेशन, ठीक है. अगर मान लो लड़का और लड़की भी हैं, आई हैव सीन इन सो मेनी केसेस, स्पेशली व्हेन इट कम्स टू द चाइल्ड ना, इट्स लाइक अरे ये तो माँ संभालेगी. एंड आई हैव सीन सो मेनी मेन लिटरली सिट ऑन देयर butts for the entire day and ऐसे करके they will just sit hands folded and they'll be like, and you will see the woman running around. And my whole idea about this is कि see, पैसे तो आप दोनों लेके आ रहे हैं, right? So you don't have that shitty argument. That was also, by the way, the पहले वाला previous generation का argument was shitty as hell, which is why the entire thing changed. Now everyone is working. जब दोनों लोग काम कर रहे हैं तो घर वाला चीज भी इज अ काम, राइट? सो व्हाई आर यू नॉट डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग इट? जस्ट डिस्ट्रीब्यूट इट, मैन. लाइक मैं तो ये बोलती हूँ कि इफ यू हैव एवर लिव्ड इवन विद अ फ्लैटमेट और एनीबडी, do you not distribute chores? Anybody who has lived as a solo person away from family, you have stayed with flatmates, if you have, then you need to distribute chores. It is not okay for one person to be taking care of the entire house when both of you are living in it. So it's just like a human, क्या बोलना चाहिए, मतलब वो इंसानियत की बात होती है. तुम्हें खुद ही लगना चाहिए कि यार घर पे तो हम दोनों रहना. Why is this one person responsible for the entire
Again,
house?
now that we are at the theme of evolutionary things, listen, a mother's love for the kid will always क्या कहते हैं, surpass the man's love for a kid. Biologically also, because you've born the child, you've gone through the labor, you've took all the क्या कहते हैं, difficult things that the man did not even, he can't even comprehend, to begin to comprehend कि भाई what it takes to birth a child, right? Or even क्या कहते हैं, go through the process of pregnancy. So you can't say that. But this is what you can do in the modern world, right? Ask a guy. एक तो I've also, again, there are women who absolutely want kids, and then there are women who absolutely don't want kids, and there are people who are like, we'll decide based on the economy and a lot of other things, right? तो ये तीनों level पे like नहीं चाहिए, देखेंगे, and चाहिए, this is a whole spectrum. In that also, why can't you just ask the guy? If you are somewhere who in the middle of the spectrum, even if you want kids, ask the guy, तुम्हें बच्चे चाहिए? He'll say like, हाँ मुझे तो अपना वंश बढ़ाना है. Like वंश बढ़ाने के अलावा कुछ करना है तुम्हें? Ask him if he's going to put that effort.
Exactly. तुझे पता है
मेल करवा लो आप. अभी तो ये सिविल कोड भी बदल गया अराउंड क्या कहते हैं, रिलेशनशिप्स एंड मैरिजेस. बट आस्क हिम, राइट एन ईमेल एंड से कि भाई इफ आई डोंट डू दिस आई विल पे यू दिस मच अमाउंट ऑफ मनी. करो.
सी मैं वही कह रही हूँ, कई लोगों को सिर्फ इसलिए बच्चा चाहिए होता है क्योंकि सोसाइटी को कुछ प्रूव करना है उन्हें, राइट? सो डू यू वांट अ किड टू प्रूव समथिंग टू द वर्ल्ड, और डू यू वांट अ किड बिकॉज यू जेन्युइनली आर ईगर और एक्साइटेड टू बिकम अ फादर? आई एम 100% श्योर, एंड मैंने नेगेटिव तो बता दिया, पॉजिटिव बताती हूँ. In some instances, sadly only a few, but I've seen the dad being so dedicated to the child कि in public places वही उठा रहा है, वही कर रहा है और अपनी खुशी से कर रहा है. वो बच्चा अब मम्मी से ज्यादा पापा के पास जाना, उसकी गोदी में जाना, because is very attached.
Because the motivation of somebody to become the papa was there in the first.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Because he genuinely wanted to be a
become
father.
Great father, not even just a father, great father.
A great father. So he is interested in the child's life, right? So he is खुद से contribute कर रहा है. So I think that is something to look for also when you are having that conversation ki bachcha karna nahi karna hai or whatever it is, but that is a separate story. I'm saying even if you again kid ko bhi hata this situations and if tum hi dono ho sirf tab bhi to yaar there are, you can do the whole division of labor thing.
For our listeners, if they think that hum sirf serious baatein karte hain, nahi, we have a lot of fun. This is one of the more mature conversation that we're having because obviously effort wali baat pe aap maturely effort dal ke baat karoge, but I want to bring a funny thing here thoda sa
यार. तो ऐसे तो कई लोग कहते हैं कि ये लोग सिर्फ बकचोदी करते हैं, कई लोग कह रहे हैं कि सीरियस, इसलिए मैं बताना चाहती हूँ लोगों को
टॉपिक के ऊपर
कि हम काफी डाइवर्स है, we do everything यार, we do it.
So I want to say something funny here, okay? There are women I've gone out with and they tell me, Aurick, I want kids, okay? And that number has ranged from one woman telling me, Aurick, I want 5 kids, okay, to where
in this economy, delusional woman.
Anyway, I won't comment on that, but there are women who are like, I want 1 kid. There are women I want at least 2 kids because 1 kid gets alone and lonely and whatever else, right? So there's again a whole spectrum there. But I ask women the point blank question first, irrespective of what I want or don't want. I ask them, तुम्हें बच्चा क्यों चाहिए? ठीक है? It's a valid question. So women answer कि मुझे माँ बनना है, खेलना है बच्चों के साथ, and I want to feel that. I say, एक काम करो, तुम और मैं मिलके क्रच खोल देते हैं, हर 6 महीने में नई फसल आएगी, ठीक है? Because kids are a pain when they grow up, they become teenagers and उसके ऊपर they become a pain. तो अगर तुम्हें बच्चों से ही खेलना है, क्रच खोल लो, स्कूल खोल लो.
Sadly, not everyone is logical.
But the funny part, wait, the funny part here comes here. A lot of women get very angry about it. तुम ऐसे कैसे बोल सकते हो? और कैसे बोल ही तो रहा हूँ, कर थोड़ा रहा हूँ, but anyways बोल रहा हूँ. Then there are women who laugh at it, like ये तो बड़ा funny है, right? And there was this one woman who I will mention here. She gets the guest of honor or whatever lifetime achievement award mention. She said, और एक ही तो कितना अच्छा आइडिया, हम तो पैसे भी कमा लेंगे. Like you are a prospective person, यार. I like you.
Yeah, think about money, man. That is what matters anyway. So
in that economy, if you are opening a crèche और आप 5 बच्चों को अपने crèche में डाल रहे हो और 60 बच्चे और आ रहे हैं, भाई चल गए तुम्हारे 5 बच्चे. 60 पे 5 free.
I would be interested in this kind of proposition if somebody said this, but anyway. Kids are a pain. But anyway, to each their own. I think I want to discuss one more thing, which is like, see, effort के बारे में इतनी तो बातें कर ली, but कई बार ऐसे होता है, you come to a point in the relationship where you realize कि you are the only one who's putting in the effort and it has now officially become one-sided. What should you do at that particular point of time? What would you suggest?
Very interesting, and that is why I said that side note pehle. Talk it out. Even though you are putting an effort and you're seeing it's not coming back, you mention to them, look, I am doing this and not because I want to do it or I want to ginify this, but I'm doing this because I love it. But I would also want some reciprocity, right? I don't want you to put 100% of what I am giving you. Might give me 60, 40, 30, whatever that ratio might be. But sometimes do something for me. In fact, the base of any relationship should be communication, friendship. वो तो we've discussed and a lot of people give a ज्ञान about all of that. We've also given ज्ञान on that. But बात करके देखो ना यार, अगर आपको लग रहा है वो effort आपको चाहिए, if you need that, and it's not about effort. Sometimes your partner needs support, right? It is more than effort. Sometimes they need that support. चाहे वो verbal हो, non-verbal हो, as a partner, it is your responsibility to understand if they need something and to fill that with either your effort or your support. You don't have to do physical things for them. Maybe you could just give them mental support or emotional strength for that matter. So support is very, very important. So in that case, what happens is you figure out and ask them, this is what I need at this moment. There is nothing wrong. I to absolutely believe and have come to believe, and it's also working out for me, is that ask and you shall receive is a real concept.
Yeah, but I think
मांगो तो मिलेगा.
Right? देखो समटाइम्स क्या होता है कि कई बार होता है ना, सामने वाले इंसान से स्लिप हो जाती है, स्लिप अप हो जाता है, एंड इट्स लाइक इट हैपेंस विदाउट एनी इंटेंशन. तो तब तो अगर तुम मांगोगे एंड सामने वाला रियलाइजेस देयर सॉर्ट ऑफ मिस्टेक कि ओ ओके, देन दे विल आल्सो ट्राई टू ब्रिंग देयर एफर्ट बैक और डू थिंग्स फॉर यू बिकॉज यू पॉइंटेड इट आउट एंड यू ब्रॉट इट अप. That will only happen if both of the people are still interested in the relationship. कई बार क्या होता है ना, वो effort one-sided तब होते हैं, especially when the relationship has progressed, when one person is still interested in you and the other person has now lost interest in you. So at that particular point of time, I think then you also have to, you should definitely bring this topic up, and I will tell you, this conversation can go two ways. एक तो तूने already जो बताया कि हाँ, they will be like, oh, अच्छा, okay, how can I support you? I think that is the healthy way. And then they will also try to incorporate those changes. ऐसा नहीं कि बोल दिया, हाँ ठीक है, तू ये बोल रही है, मैं कर दूंगी, and then you don't act on it. You obviously have to act on it. But कई बार वो होता है कि they will be, they will be apprehensive of this conversation. Even if you bring this up, they would not want to address a problem. They'll be like, nahi, kaha, I don't see a problem. I think then that is the point where you should take a call and realize ki, okay, maybe this person is not that interested in me as I am in them, because efforts, I feel, is how you show your interest in a person. And even after you have brought something up, even if they are not ready to, at that point, if they're not ready to fix it, that means that they don't value you or the relationship as much, right? Otherwise, they would
And
agree
this
to
is
it.
one of the reasons why you should actually divorce or break up with someone. In fact, somebody, you know about this story, right? Somebody broke up with me, said that even after all the efforts that I put in, the person said, "Aurick,
फूल नहीं खरीदे.
तू फूल नहीं देता मेरे को." तो तूने पूछा था, मेरे को क्या पता तेरे सपने में आएगा मेरे को कि तेरे को फूल चाहिए, क्या आकाशवाणी ऊपर से फट के बोलेगी कि इसको फूल दे. Not everybody likes flowers also, and not
हाँ.
everybody loves the smell of certain flowers. If you've never mentioned to me, if I've not known, वैसे तो you've told me everything, the most intimate things on our first date, but you've not told me about the flower thing. You can't expect me to do something which I want to understand you and I want to provide for you based on who you are, not because I followed a template and I did those for my ex, so I'll do that for you. Right? My ex wanted flowers, maybe you don't want it.
I think यहाँ पे we have to go back to the first point where it is like, yeah, you have to define what effort means
exactly.
to you.
So in that case, expectation and effort दोनों discuss करो. But this is the reason why I'm saying this is a mature reason why, right? If a person is asking for effort and support, and if they're constantly not able to provide it, or if they're lying about it, कि हाँ मैं करूँगा, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna do this, and every time they falter and they don't do this, please go ahead and break up, or even have divorces, even if it's, let's say, after 7 years of marriage, after 50 years of marriage, after 25 years of marriage. And that is one of the reasons why mature women are divorcing. See,
yes,
you can say that young women are divorcing left, right, and center, which is also a stupid thing. But when mature women are actually divorcing, they're doing it for this reason. I see that there were different goals from my partner now because times have also changed, things have become more accessible. In that case, what happens? I want to go this way. The partner does not want to go this way. They're like more introverted or they're more extroverted. The woman is not that way. Their travel goals are different. Could be anything. Now they realize, बच्चे बड़े कर दिए, सब हो गया. Now we should part ways. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
That should also happen.
I think that is a very justifiable reason to end things with someone if you don't see that it is mutual, right?
Yep.
So that is all that I could think of for today. Do you have anything else?
I am very proud. Generally, if you notice, audience, that I am the one who's leading with questions and all of that. And I told Saniya that this time you're going to lead the whole podcast, and
I did it so well.
And she did so well.
And myself.
Sare questions is like, I'm going to think and write about.
Yeah, no ChatGPT by the way was involved here. I actually thought of these things that I wanted to talk about.
Right, absolutely. So, great job done. Thank you. I would love this effort wali baat hai, right? You also put in some effort. Itne time se main kar raha tha, and I'm like, this guy literally was like, Saniya, this is our podcast. It should feel like this. This time you are going to do it. I'm like, you know what? I am. Let's do it. I'll do it. So this is a good, healthy partnership that we are having here. We also fight over a lot of things, but we don't pull our hair out. But we have a good, sensible conversation, and we calm down also in the same breath also. But I want to encourage our listeners that starting this season, we're also going to bring in guests as well, and we're more than excited to do that.
Yay!
So if any of you listeners want to contact us and get in touch and say that, we want to be a guest on your podcast because we have a lot to share, please by all means DM us. We will mention that in the description of our podcast, or you can write to boss@lovesukhDhoka.com, DHOKA, not KHA. LoveSukhDhoka.com.
We'll put that in there. We'll put all of these details in there, and definitely reach out to us, and we would love. By the way, we are in Delhi NCR, so I think logistically we would only be able to have guests who are also from around here. But
if you're super passionate, we'll make it happen through technology. Effort.
We could do that. We can figure.
If you're valuable, kya kehte hai?
Yeah, we can figure that out. We can figure that out. Also, I think if someone is like sort of like shy or something, I would like to say that since this is not a video podcast yet, I know many people have some kind of apprehensions about being on a video. So I think this would make it easier also, right, for people to come along, because it is us talking and we have that friendship wala vibe. So I think we could make people feel comfortable for sure.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of fun. We'll poke you around, we'll ask you for things to tell us, and you can embarrass us, at least me for that matter. It's all right. But yeah, please do come and share your feedback. In fact, we get a lot of feedback. Right?
I like that.
Love hearing us, and they make sense of what we are saying. They agree with both of us. Saniya, so many of my people have told Saniya makes so much sense.
I know, right? No, मुझे obviously मुझे लोगों ने approach किया तो मेरे बारे में कहा है, and Aurick के बारे में भी कहा है, and they're like, no, you guys have a very good conversation, and we actually look forward when is the next episode coming. I'm like, oh my god, कोई दो इंसान भी मेरे को ये बोल देता. I'm like, someone is listening to it, someone is making sense out of it. I'm happy.
My ex told me, Saniya and you actually talk very well.
Nice. Anyway.
All right, on that happy note, Saniya, do the closure.
Oh my god, what? किसे closure देना चाहिए?
On that note, guys, thank you for listening to us. We'll be back with our next episode very, very soon. tune in and also share with your friends and family if you love, because we talk very sensitively, not a lot of profanity. Yes. Woohoo! Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.